Thank you. I'd like to start out by saying I think if you're going to have a great uranium development project, you need to have a weapon-based name. We just heard about Arrow, and I'm going to tell you about Lance and our other project, Dagger. So we are in good shape here. Peninsula Energy has or is on track now to become a uranium producer at the end of this year in a world-class Tier 1 jurisdiction, the state of Wyoming. We're an ASX listed company with US-based assets, and it's very pleased to be here today presenting to you. Again, all the disclaimers are standard. I do tend to speak with forward-looking statements, and I caution you on that. Today, what we're looking at with Peninsula Energy and the Lance projects is a world-class, scalable, near-term uranium production story in a Tier 1 jurisdiction. We are on track for production at the end of 2024, and we funded that. We're funded to production. We'll be looking over the course of this year to secure additional funding to take us from and through the ramp-up phase to the point of being cash flow positive, which to me is the mark of a mature uranium company, or any company, being cash flow positive, producing enough product to support all of your activities and providing a return for your shareholders. We know, with certainty that we're facing a very favorable uranium market now, and it looks to be that way well into the future. And with that, our developments at Lance are providing us multiple avenues of growth, exciting opportunities to expand the resources within the Lance projects at the Kendrick and the Barber areas, and then at our Dagger project, which is adjacent. Today, our corporate situation is like this. Our market cap sits at about $253 million Australian. We have about $58 million US in the bank today. We're well funded for our programs, and we have no term debt. A very experienced board of directors who's been with the company for a long time, and we also have a very experienced management team. But to answer the question, how did we come to be so well funded to have $58 million in the bank today? What we did was we just completed an equity capital raising in November of 2023. With that capital raising, we did a placement of $50 million Australian, and that was followed with a share purchase plan for our existing shareholders, taking good care of them, a $10 million raising. Attached to those shares was options, half options, and those half options are in the money with a strike price of 10 cents per share. They have a short-dated tenure that the options expire within a year, and that was all designed so that we could possibly see another $40 million of revenue from the option exercise over the course of the next year that will continue to bring funding into our company. We're also pursuing loan programs. We have a loan application being considered by the U.S. Department of Energy that would provide additional funding for the company and carry us through the ramp-up period of production. And we're talking to other non-bank debt providers as other options for funding. So we're not excluding equity, but we're looking at debt funding for the balance of our capital needs. That's our priority. Our production team is second to none in the United States. As introduced, I have over 35 years of experience in the uranium production industry in the U.S. I'm second to Mr. Ralph Canode, who's my project manager at the facility. He has 45 years of experience. Collectively, with some of the younger guys each having over 20 years of experience, this team that we have in place has over 200 years of direct production, construction, and operations experience in uranium mining, and we are the envy. This team in the United States is just one of the top uranium production teams. So I'm really pleased to be working with them, and I know that they will successfully carry the project forward into production in the coming year. Let's talk about the project. It's situated in the state of Wyoming. The Lance project is in the Powder River Basin, which is a prolific uranium production district. You could see on this map the number of uranium mines and development projects in the Powder River Basin and around the state of Wyoming. Wyoming is a mining state, in case you didn't know, leading the nation with coal production, uranium production, trona, and one of the leading producers of oil and gas in the United States. The people of Wyoming understand extraction, they support the extraction industry, and we really have virtually no local opposition when we do our regulatory work. That means that the Lance projects are fully licensed for production. We've had our license since 2015, and I'll tell you a little bit more about the history of it, but the Lance projects are broken down into 3 areas. The red area that you see here is the Ross production area. That's where we started production in 2016. We have 2 fully developed well fields that will return back into production when we get going again. We have a process plant that we're expanding today. I'll tell you a little bit more about that in this presentation. And then we're going to look to expand our production out into the Kendrick area, the area in blue. The Kendrick area has about 16 million pounds of uranium resource to add to about 7 million pounds that are still at Ross today. Between those 2 areas, we project 10 years of mining. The next 10 years will produce over 15 million pounds just between Ross and Kendrick. And then we have the most exciting aspect, for explorationists is the Barber area, the area in green. Today we know there's over 32 million pounds of resource. It's mostly inferred resources, and that we have a lot of work to do to infill drill and bring closer space drilling to the project area. We know that there's a tremendous resource expansion opportunity there. But today we sit with a world-class project in the United States with over 50 million pounds of resource. When we continue drilling on the project, we think we can bring that resource up, very much a forward-looking statement, to between 150 and 200 million pounds. Again, making this one of the most exciting and most substantial uranium project developments in the United States. We use and employ a low pH in situ recovery process. In other words, acid leaching with solution mining. This is how the Kazakhs and Australians produce their uranium by in situ methods. It's very well understood, ecologically friendly approach to uranium recovery. We only have temporary surface disturbances. We add a chemically fortified solution into an aquifer that dissolves the uranium. We recover that solution and then the uranium from that solution at our process plants. It's a very simple, elegant mining process. It does not require us to move ore. We don't have open pit or underground mining facilities. This is what our mine looks like in the picture on your left, the in situ well field. Each of the little black dots you see in that field is a cover over a production or an injection well. But that's what our mine looks like when it's operating. Inside the plant facility, we have ion exchange columns. They look like this. We're expanding our ion exchange system now. Again, this project was licensed and developed in 2015. We have a capacity or a permit to produce up to 3 million pounds per year. And it was operated from 2016 until the middle of 2019 when the uranium markets did not support the project at that time. Today the projects are quite different, or the economics and uranium markets are quite different. And we're happy to be moving forward with development activities again, transitioning to the low pH chemistry, which was completed in 2023. But more importantly, when you want something done right, you have to do it yourself. So we're bringing some of the additional processing in-house. We're preparing our plant facility so that we can do the elution, precipitation, and final dry yellow cake processing so that we produce a final dry yellow cake. In the past, we relied on a third party to do that work for us. So part of our plan, and really the focal point of our plan in 2024, is to build the new plant facilities so that we can produce a finished product ourselves in-house. And so we have construction going on. That's the exciting thing. You see in the upper picture here, folks a week and a half ago putting up forms for pouring concrete. I'm told that tomorrow we'll be pouring a significant amount of concrete slabs for our future facilities. we completed the low pH transition work. You see the acid storage and distribution facilities in the lower picture, and some of the reworking of the plumbing inside the existing plant to be compatible with low pH. We'll be commencing the significant part of our construction project in the coming weeks. We have the bid process out for the construction companies right now to build the plant facility. We expect to select a contractor in the coming week or two, and then we'll be off and running constructing the project. While we do the plant and the plant construction as maybe the focal point of the year, we're also constructing new well fields and getting new well field areas ready for production so that in 2025 we can have a very robust production profile. Preparing new well fields in an in-situ recovery facility is like stripping topsoil and overburden in an open pit mine. You have to get your mine areas ready for production. We have a high degree of focus on that this year. We're spending an equal amount of money on well field development as we are on plant construction. So, the work programs this year are very significant, but 2025 will be a real exciting year. This is what our timeline to production looks like. Today we're getting ready to select our construction contractor. We expect construction to start in a couple of weeks, directly after selecting the contractor. We do have some pre-construction activities going on now, as I showed you. We have resource expansion drilling plans for this year as well in the Lance project area, and also at our Barber project, which is just to the northeast of Lance. And we're going to continue to prepare to ramp up production. We think pre-production flow and operational activities will start in the third quarter as the plant construction nears completion, and we expect to be in production around the end of this year. First delivery of dry yellowcake from our new and expanded facility will happen in the second quarter of 2025, and we'll have the project achieving sustainable free cash flow in the third quarter of 2025. So it's just around the corner for us. We have a lot of work in the work programs in action right now. Very active site, over 45 employees working, and numerous contractors. Our all-in sustaining costs when we're up and running has been projected to be around $42.50 a pound. We think an average realized price of $67 a pound is realistic. The market has improved, and we'll see a better average realized price on the basis of the improved market. But this is exciting economics for us, justified production. This is the production profile that we look at for the next 10 years. Next year, 2025, we think we'll be producing about 1 million pounds, 1.1 million pounds, and then we're going to ramp this up to about a 2 million pound a year production rate by the end of the decade. This reflects the first 10 years of production. We'll expand into the Barber area. Again, this was just the Ross and Kendrick areas. And when we expand into the Barber area, this won't be a 10-year mine life. It'll be a 20 or 25-year mine life. It's a very significant uranium resource. We have offtake contracts. We have committed some sales into the next 10 years. So against that production profile, this is our sales profile. In the dark green bars, you can see how much product is committed into sales agreements. This gives us certainty of pricing, but you can also see how much additional production is available for sale. The gray bar on top of the darker green bars show what's available for sale into the market. So we have very strong leverage to the upward trajectory of the uranium price, but at the same time we have very good certainty on known revenues from contracts. We have 6 customers, utility customers in both the United States and Europe supporting our project. So we're an emerging near-term producer, exciting news flow this year, initiation of plant construction, development activities in the well fields, and most importantly, the start of production at the end of this year. So I hope you'll follow us and see how we achieve this. Thank you. Right on, Bill.